know it's hot, baby. One more shot, we'll head to the shade. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Appreciate you coming into the channel. Today, I'd like to share with you how I'm incorporating mental imagery into my practice time. But Gracie's getting really hot out here, and I have to admit that summertime has set in on the Ozarks, and we're going to head up, find a little bit of shade and maybe a glass of tea. So come and join us up there, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll be right back. Well, thanks for joining me back up here on the back deck of the house. Sun's tipped down enough over on the other side of the house where it's casting a pretty nice little shady spot back here on the back. Opted for a big glass of water instead of my iced tea. It had gotten pretty warm out. Gracie and I, we tried to shoot our video out here on the target range, but right in the middle of doing so, the camera overheated, and Gracie was about to do a little overheating herself, the poor thing. So after camera cooling down a little bit, we made a couple of shots there to illustrate the point that we're trying to get across. But now that we're back up here, appreciate you joining us in the shade. So today, as I alluded to earlier, I want to speak to you about mental imagery in traditional archery. What do I mean by mental imagery? Some people call it visualization. Basically, it's producing a picture within your mind to replicate a positive outcome to the task at hand. I've been using mental imagery since I began my journey into traditional archery 10 months ago now. It started out, I couldn't even hit a little styrofoam block from 15 feet away. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know how to aim the bow. I didn't know what type of aiming I was going to do. But I just kept at it, and as I visualized more and more and began to be able to focus on a more positive outcome, I realized that I could make adjustments through my shot making process to get my arrows more on target as I went. So that progressed from 5 yards to 10 yards to 15. Now I'm shooting all the way back to 40 yards on a pretty regular basis. And the way that I introduce visualization or mental imagery into this is that I'm seeing the flight of my arrow impacting the target before I ever draw the bowstring back. It's I use it extensively in instinctive archery. I'm going to back up just a second and make a mention of this term, instinctive archery. You hear pros and cons and debate on this all the time, and it's a semantics thing. No, I did not pick up a bow and see myself able to hit a target from the first time I pull a string back, as instinctive would infer. It is by learned repetition. Instinctive archery is a name that has been assigned to it over decades, so it's the one that I choose to give a description of the type of aiming that I do. I do not use arrows or any device or any other manufactured piece of equipment to produce an aiming point on my target. I focus on an area that I want to hit. I try to complete a good process of good form and coming into a solid anchor point, and I see with my mental imagery the arrow flying into that point. And when it seems right in my when the sight picture seems right in my vision, that's when a cue sets forth for me to relax my fingers while I'm pulling through the string, giving me a nice clean release, hopefully to target. Um, it has occurred over hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of shots over and over to build this repetitive nature, to put a database within my mind of the sight picture and how the bow needs to be held at that point. It's the same way. If a golfer is trying to hit a nice draw shot around a dog leg, um, a baseball pitcher wants to see his curve in action, or his slider, you know, coming across at the right spot. Um, we see it in the shooting sports. The mental imagery has been used in the sports world for a long time and is highly touted. So, why am I bringing it back up now? Well, after shooting so many shots and groups of arrows and repetitive shooting, um, what I'm trying to focus on now, I'm shooting one arrow at a time, as I demonstrated within the first couple of shots of this video. I do not want any additional arrows in there to draw my attention to while I'm trying to pick a spot on the target that I'm shooting, which I'm trying to put strictly into 3D type targets now. I'm getting completely away from target faces. I've got my arrow trajectory, my form, my consistency is down now. So now I want to focus strictly on bow hunting. Now, having said that, is the next step that I'm taking this to. When I mentioned picking a spot, and that's what we all hear, aim small. Pick a spot on the animal that you want to hit. This is good advice. However, for me, and the reason I'm making this video to bring this information to you, that it may help, it may not. But the pick a spot, while good advice, that spot on a live animal moves. So when you've picked a spot of him coming in and then he turns to move around, that spot may not be the spot that you need any longer for your arrow to go into the vitals. It may be too far forward, too far back. If you pick a spot broadside and then he turns to start quartering away from you, well, that spot needs to be further back in the rib cage to take that arrow into the vitals. So all of a sudden, the spot that you've picked out is no longer valid. So I was browsing through other YouTube channels that I like to follow, and one of them is put up by a gentleman by the name of Brian Johnson. Mr. Johnson was a taxidermist for years, and also got into a business of sculpting animals. Well, he has combined these two and has come across an anatomically correct decoy of an animal that has all of the organs in the proper positions within the rib cage and the animal, and it's a sight to see. If you get the chance, the Anatomy Hunter is his website, or excuse me, his YouTube channel, and it shows it from different angles, straight broadside from ground level, from different angles and different heights in a tree stand, quartering away, quartering to, broadside, but it shows where the entrance needs to be for the arrow to actually pass through the vitals of the deer. It's fascinating. But what it's done for me is put a mental image in my mind of the position of the deer's heart. And I'm going to throw that up on the screen for you now. You'll see that in this picture, it shows, the lungs and the relationship of the heart behind the front shoulder of the deer. And it shows the bone structure, coming up and then going back into the shoulder blade with that heart right in the magic V right there. Well, if we use an image of where that heart is positioned, it doesn't change on the animal. No matter where it's moving, that heart is going to be there. If he's coming towards you, it's here in the chest. If it's broadside, it's sitting right there in the magic V of the shoulder. If it's going away from you, you can cut back and send it up through the cavity. That heart doesn't move. So no matter where the animal and what position that animal is in, if we can project a mental image of that heart where it's at, from the relationship of the angle of the animal we're shooting at, then we've got a good target. So that's why I'm starting now, trying to project that image onto my 3D targets. I don't care about what a scoring zone is on a 3D target. I want to shoot into the spot where the heart would be located from whatever angle I'm shooting into it. And I'm shooting one arrow at a time. Again, I don't want another arrow up there to distract my vision or to draw my focus away from where I'm wanting to put that shot. It's working well for me. I'm very pleased with the direction that this is going. Just thought I would bring it to you to see if this is something that you might be able to incorporate into your practice also. I've been doing it on my target out here on my target range, but I plan on using my portable Killzone target to actually go out into the woods and be able to utilize from different angles over in there. The reason I want to do that is because I want to get ingrained in my mind what the sight picture looks like in the woods. I do not estimate yardages. I don't look at it and say, okay, I'm 12 yards away, I'm 18 yards away, I'm 22 yards away. I never estimate a yardage. With an instinctive shooting, all I'm doing is looking at my target and picturing in my mind's eye what my arrow trajectory needs to do to get into my point of aim, my projected target. So I want to start moving out into the timber with these. Stump shooting is a good exercise for that also. But I really like shooting at the animal targets out there and working on it this way. So I will keep you updated as I continue my shooting and as things progress along with it, and let you know if it's working for me. But if this is something that might also work for you, I highly recommend that you check out the YouTube channel of Mr. Johnson, the Anatomy Hunter. I think we could learn some lessons from that one. And in the meantime, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here at Ozarks Traditional again. And I'm going to finish my tall drink of water here as the shade comes back in, and enjoy the rest of this early summer afternoon here in South Central Missouri. So thanks for coming. Appreciate you so much. And remember, y'all come back.